Hello, Paul Harvey fans. As parents, we know how important imagination is in the development of a child's brain. It helps develop social skills, helps build confidence, and helps develop language skills, as I obviously need help doing now. The best part is kids enjoy it, but how much is too much? To tell you about one such child who spent lots of time lost in his own imagination, here's Paul Harvey.
Now, the rest of the story. Eugene Wesley was a small boy, but he was outbound on the adventure of a lifetime. He could feel the ship rocking beneath him. He could smell the salty air. He could taste the wind-swept spray. He could see the gulls soaring majestically overhead. And there were sounds, more than just the wash of the waves on the hull. Strange, wonderful sounds. Perhaps the voices of surfacing sea monsters that had risen to inspect the vessel. But little Gene had not gone to sea, nor had he even left home. For the oceanic expanse which he sailed was his own backyard, and his mighty ship was a mere cardboard box. And yet for hours Eugene would sit in that box, charting exciting courses in his mind, so consumed by his own imagination that his parents began to worry. Pretending was one thing, they reasoned, but this was something different, maybe even dangerous. And if it were, Eugene's mother, Caroline, had only herself to blame, because Eugene was not yet school age when it was discovered that he was seriously ill with asthma. And to make the long bedridden months pass more easily for the child, his mother read him stories aloud. And when Mother could no longer satisfy Eugene's insatiable appetite for stories, she taught him how to read, and so it was at a remarkably early age that Eugene submerged himself in literature, adventure mainly, the cowboy sagas of Zane Grey, and Jonathan Swift's tale of a giant among the Lilliputians. Mother Caroline was the first to sense trouble. She told her husband that Eugene was not only preoccupied with his beloved books, but he was becoming obsessed with the stories themselves. And then, to make matters even worse, an outside influence, a man Eugene's parents had never met, a man whom they did not even know existed, a real, live person who lived over a neighbor's garage, a man whom Eugene began to visit after his long illness had passed, a man who described himself as an ex-con, but who was now trying to be good. And indeed it seemed that he was, and the fellow did become a friend of Eugene. The only aspect of their friendship of which the boy's parents would certainly not have approved was the storytelling. The man whose name has long since been forgot filled Eugene's head with adventures, even more incredible adventures than those of which he had read, adventures in science fiction. And yet, despite the depths of his imagination, Eugene always managed to return to the real world. And one day he returned to us with a legend that has captivated television viewers for more than a quarter century. You may never have met Eugene Wesley Roddenberry, Gene Roddenberry, but now you'll always envision a boy in a box, engulfed in the fantasy of an ocean voyage that never was, and yet who one day commanded the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, to go boldly where no mind had ever gone before, and to create the unforgettable characters and the intriguing stories. Yes, Gene was the author of the modern mythology, which you know as Star Trek. Only now you know the rest of the story.
Gene Roddenberry's imagination helped us to boldly go where no man, and then later, no one has gone before. I spent many hours watching Captain Kirk, Spock, Bones, and the rest of the crew of the Starship Enterprise in TV reruns and motion pictures. Then, in the late 1980s, Gene's reboot of the series called The Next Generation, with Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Data, Worf, and the rest of the crew, drew us in again. Since then, there have been a host of Star Trek TV series which have experienced varying degrees of success. although set in outer space, we always learned a little something about ourselves and our world from Star Trek. And we got a lot of inventions from Star Trek too. But as Spock would say, live long and prosper. But as Paul Harvey would say, good day.